I'm going to tell you today how I know without a shadow of a doubt that Stephanie Jenkins is lying about her and her kids being harassed and stalked at the park in her recent video. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I haven't posted in forever, but it is my goal to get back onto this platform, and I thank you so much for being here and giving me support. So if you have not seen Stephanie Jenkins' video about her taking the kids to the park and supposedly being harassed and stalked by cars at the park, let me give you a snippet rundown of what occurred during the video. So she starts off the video showing her kids playing at the park, saying that she is finally taking them to their favorite park, which is wonderful. Let's get those kids out of that motel room. That would be lovely. But then she proceeds to tell us how this is why she doesn't take her kids out in public very often, because when she does, this kind of stuff happens. What she claims happened on this day was that she noticed that a car had pulled up right in front of them where they could see them and profusely honked their horn at her and the kids for 10 minutes. Yes, 10 minutes. No joke. She literally said that. 10 whole minutes. 10 minutes is a long time, okay? Let's just keep that in mind. She says that during this 10 minutes of this person just profusely honking at her and the kids, facing directly at them, she says that this person is also yelling things out the window that she wasn't paying attention to and she doesn't know what they were saying, but they were yelling at her from their window. And I should stop here. Really, I should retract, and I should have started this off by saying that at the beginning of this video, she says that something happened at the park and she doesn't want to be too extreme because the situation wasn't really that extreme. She then goes on to explain to us a very extreme situation, or what I would perceive as a very potentially dangerous extreme situation. So after this person is sitting there honking their horn at her and the kids, and she does nothing about it, by the way, she doesn't call the cops, she doesn't record any video or audio to support her claims. Her and the kids just keep playing. And in this video, it shows that the kids look happy. They're swinging, they're playing in sand, all of the things. Great kid-like things that they would do at the park. And mind you, not one of her children looks scared or fearful or anything during this entire video where she is talking about this situation happening. So mind you, she's recording her children play, but has no clip of even 3 seconds at all showing or an audio of this car honking at her for 10 whole minutes. It's not even in the background noise of her showing these clips of her kids playing. And that is the first red flag, because this content creator shares everything, right? She shares her kids, she exploits her kids for cash and money and views on social media. She exploits their homeless situation, their trauma, everything about them, but forgets or doesn't think about recording a situation like this, right? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It's not true. So then she goes to tell us that she noticed that this person was on the phone. Next thing she knows, this person's on the phone. A bunch of other cars pull up into the park parking lot, and they all go where this other car is in view of her and the kids. She also says that when this happens, all of those other cars have people in them that are also on their phones. Then she shares, she decided that her and the kids were going to pack up and they were going to head to their car. So she said that she starts heading to the car to leave. And when she starts doing that, she says that she notices that a bunch of these cars start coming closer and closer and closer to her. Okay, that's alarming, right? And so she gets the kids, in the car and everything. And then she notices that one of the cars is actually blocking the exit and impeding her way to exit the park parking lot. Okay, now let me just stop here for a second. Think about if this was you. If you were at the park with all your kids and this exact situation happened to you, do you think that you would just be like, oh, well, it's fine? Or do you think that you would be trying to document some of it, at least with audio, right? You would at least turn your phone camera on and start recording so that the profuse honking could be recorded, or so that you could show that all of these people have their phones pointed at you and your kids. You would document something, right? And most people would even go as far as to calling the local authorities, because if somebody is blocking your way to exit a parking lot and you're feeling that unsafe, and these people for 10 minutes have been honking at you, yelling at you, that's a pretty extreme situation, wouldn't you say? I most definitely would. Through all of this, not a single second clip of anything, audio, visual, anything was put into this video. I think at the end of the video, she like flashes to like a random car, and it doesn't even look like that car has even anybody in it. So I think she just threw that in there to make it more believable. But when people are really watching this stuff and analyzing this situation, you would know that it's just not true. And she just threw that in there to throw it in there and thought that she covered her bases. So these are the reasons why I do not believe her. And I would love to know your opinions in the comments below. Let's have a talk. Let's have a chat. Let's share our opinions. Do you have a valid reasoning for any of this? Something you can maybe offer to change my mind about the situation? I would love to hear it all. To me, though, I really feel like this is a cry for attention. It's one of a few things, or maybe a combination of all of them. I think it was definitely a cry for attention. I think it also was a way for her to make money, because her views are low, right? Her views, especially from the For You page, her views are low. She's not making the kind of money that she used to make on this app. And so we know that she is the queen of rage bait, right? We know that she has rage baited her audience since the beginning, right? Even before she went viral, even before she became TikTok famous or whatever, for all the wrong reasons, by the way, she was still rage baiting years ago when she was getting 200 and 300 views per video. She has even made videos in the past talking about the fact that she thinks the only way to go viral on social media is to rage bait and to lie about things. So I personally think that this partly was definitely a way to get traffic to her page and to rage bait her audience. And honestly, if that is a reasoning here, which I truly believe it is, that is so disgusting. Leave it up to Stephanie Jenkins to once again, yet again, to exploit her children and the situation for money and views and cash off of the internet. So I posted a video, a short form video of this exact situation on both TikTok, and I just uploaded it to YouTube before I recorded this video right now. And whenever I talk about the resilient Jenkins on TikTok, I get a lot of comments saying, it's none of your business, leave these people alone, why do you spend so much time talking about another family on the internet? Don't you have something better to do? You're just judging them. How rude of you to just judge people. Things like that. And I just want to address those opinions for a second and give you my reasoning as to why I think that it is important for content creators to call out fellow content creators who are exploiting their children and traumas for social media views. So first and foremost, child safety comes first, right? And when you have a mommy vlogger or a person who is exploiting children in any way, shape, or form, that children's safety is now at risk. So let's just start off with that. That is dangerous. Another thing, I truly believe that exploitation should never, ever equal entertainment for your viewing purposes. Ever. Turning a child's pain, like homelessness or trauma that they've experienced, into entertainment is honestly downright disgusting, if you ask me. And you know what happens? You see other creators see this kind of stuff, and it's a way to make some quick cash. And so then they think it's okay for them to do the same thing. And then that's why we have all of these horrible content creators out here that are literally exploiting their children in a multitude of different ways for views and entertainment on social media. I also think that doing stuff like what the Resilient Jenkins post and some other creators post, exploiting their children, sets a very dangerous precedent. Like I said before, if nobody speaks up, it normalizes it, and they're not being held accountable. So they're like, well, it's fine. I'm making money. It's not hurting my children visibly right now, so it's fine. Another thing I feel very passionate about is that I truly believe that kids deserve privacy and dignity and respect. And when the parent decides to exploit their children in whatever way, they are giving their children none of those things. Imagine growing up and you're now 20 years old and the internet is forever, by the way, okay? The internet doesn't go away. Things that you post on the internet don't just go away, even if you delete them nowadays. And so you have these creators that are raising their children on social media and exploiting them in many different ways. You know, think the Doggerty Dozen and Ruby Frankie, and oh my gosh, the list is so long. I could go on and on and on. These children eventually do grow up and become adults, right? And their whole story is plastered all over the internet, and they cannot run away from it even if they want to. They can stay radio silent and completely get away from social media, get away from the entertainment spotlight, everything. But their face and their name is still all over the internet. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being 20 years old and people talking about how when you were 7, your parents put you on TikTok and exploited your situation of living in a motel as a family of 7, and how everything was dirty and there was bugs around, and your mom's outside sweeping rocks from the porch, and how you stayed in there for a year because your parents decided just to not get jobs. And then there were all these lies sprinkled into, which you know the truth, right? When you're 20 years old and you're looking back at all these TikTok videos, you're like, well, that was a lie. That was a lie. That was a lie. Can you imagine this shame and resentment and the long-term lasting negative effects that can come from all of that? And I think that that is what either these content creators that are choosing to do stuff like this, either they are not thinking about the long-term effects of their children growing up in the spotlight like this in such a negative way, or they just simply don't care. And I don't know which one is worse, because as a mother, any choice that I make for my children, I always think about not just today, not just right now, but what about tomorrow? What about 5 years from now? What about 10 years from now? How is this going to serve them? How is this going to help them? How is this going to hinder them? Another reason why I think that it is completely acceptable to talk about families like this is because they need to be held accountable. Accountability is a real and powerful thing. And often public pressure is the only reason why creators like this end up stopping creating content like this, is because they're tired of the backlash. And that backlash comes from people like me and other creators who are willing to speak up on behalf of these children, to try to raise awareness, to get these people to stop exploiting their children online. I have been called a bully or told that I was harassing the resilient Jenkins by simply posting videos like this. Mainly on TikTok is where I get most of that backlash. And I just want to say that this is not harassment or bullying whatsoever. For number one, Stephanie Jenkins and all these other creators have chosen to post what they post, okay? Nobody is making them post anything. Nobody is doing it for them. They are posting what they're choosing to post, and we are simply reacting to their public posts. And something that people need to realize is that when you decide to be active on social media and post anything, it doesn't matter what it is, you are opening up the door for other people to criticize you. You are opening up the door for other people to have opinions on what your content is that you posted. And so if she doesn't want any of that, then she shouldn't post the stuff in the first place. And that goes for everybody. And the last thing I want to say in defense of content creators like myself, raising awareness and bringing awareness to content creators like this who are potentially very dangerous to their children, is that doing so pushes for real change. That kind of goes along with the accountability, right? If nobody speaks up, then they don't think they're doing anything wrong. And the more people that know, the harder it is for platforms in general, like YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all of these things, to ignore child exploitation in the content that they allow on that platform. And there are many creators who bring awareness to all different types of content creators that decide to exploit their children for cash on the internet in many different ways. And I think that is good because it's holding the creator accountable and it's bringing possible change to these platforms that need to get rid of creators that are using child exploitation to make money. And remember, I should have said this earlier, but remember that her children are not old enough to consent to this. She might say, and other creators might say in their videos, well, he loves being in the video. She loves being in the videos. They think it's fun, whatever. Yeah, they're 7 years old. They don't know. They don't know. Their brain is literally not fully developed enough to know what the long-term repercussions are of them participating in this content. They see mom or dad doing it, and so they think it's okay because they trust mom or dad. But they don't realize what's going to happen in 15 years. They also probably don't know exactly everything you're posting. And I think that's a really, really important thing to drive home, is that these children are put on camera without being able to consent to the bigger picture of what they're actually participating in. And if parents won't protect their kids' privacy, then the only option that people have is to raise awareness in videos like this, to encourage these platforms to demonetize these type of people when they're choosing to exploit their children. Raising awareness for these things is how society pushes back and tries to protect these children to the best of their ability. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Please let me know what you think about this topic. If there's any other topics you would like me to cover, content creators that you would like me to look into. I love doing research and I love bringing that research to you guys. So thank you so much again. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one.